Is Canada still being run by Canadians, or has quiet power shifted into new hands? In 2025, one community's rise is rewriting politics, jobs and housing. This is the untold story of India's growing influence inside Canada's corridors of power. Chapter 1. The numbers behind the power. Canada's population has been shaped by waves of immigration: the French, the British, the Italians, the Chinese, and now one of the fastest growing diasporas in modern Canadian history, Indian Canadians. As of 2025, nearly 2 million Canadians trace their roots to India, about 5% of the entire nation. But the growth curve is staggering. In 1980, the community numbered fewer than 200,000. Today, it's 10 times larger. In cities like Brampton, Mississauga, Surrey and Calgary, Indian Canadians dominate cultural and commercial life. Trucking fleets, tech firms, law practices and medical offices often carry Punjabi or Gujarati surnames on their signage. These are not isolated pockets, they're economic ecosystems. This influence concentrates power geographically. When 40% of voters in a riding share heritage, they can shape who wins and who governs. In federal elections since 2021, that concentration has turned the Greater Toronto and Vancouver areas into decisive battlegrounds. Cultural presence has followed the same trajectory. Diwali lights outshine Christmas in some suburbs. Punjabi music fills local radio. Canada's melting pot has become a mosaic of dominance. Yet dominance doesn't automatically mean danger. It means visibility, and visibility always sparks debate. Are Indian Canadians simply thriving within the promise of multiculturalism, or are they quietly steering the ship? Chapter 2. From grassroots to the corridors of power rarely arrives overnight. It begins with phone banks, potlucks and community halls. The Indian diaspora mastered grassroots politics early, organizing around temples, business associations and student unions. By 2024, every major party, from liberals to conservatives, had community liaisons dedicated to courting the South Asian vote. It paid off. More than 20 MPs of Indian descent now sit in Parliament, several holding top portfolios like foreign affairs, trade and defence. Their presence is no accident. Decades of networking, fundraising and turnout discipline have made Indian Canadians political professionals. In cities like Brampton and Surrey, a candidate without Punjabi volunteers is a candidate doomed. This organisation extends beyond elections. Community leaders fund scholarships, media outlets and advocacy groups that influence how policy is framed. Their goal isn't secrecy, it's participation at scale. Still, perception shapes reality. To many voters, the sight of cabinet tables lined with familiar surnames feels like a quiet revolution. To others, it's the proof that multicultural democracy works. Representation is healthy. But when one community outpaces all others in political maturity, it creates imbalance. Not through conspiracy, but through competence. Canada's new power brokers learned democracy faster than anyone expected. Chapter 3. The job market struggle. Who's winning and who's not? Ask the average Canadian what keeps them awake at night, and the answer isn't politics, it's work. Unemployment hovers above 7%. Inflation eats raises. Middle-class families juggle 2 jobs to stay afloat. And many feel locked out of opportunities once promised as their birthright. Meanwhile, Indian origin professionals arrive armed with credentials, stamina and community networks. They fill tech offices, logistics firms and hospitals, fields begging for labour. They didn't steal jobs, they filled voids Canada left open. But perception tells another story. When entire office floors speak Hindi or Punjabi at lunch, when promotions seem to circulate within tight circles, resentment brews. The line between merit and monopoly blurs. Canada's deeper issue is policy, not people. Successive governments relied on immigration to patch labor gaps instead of reforming education or apprenticeships. Employers chase ready-made talent abroad rather than training at home. Indian Canadians simply adapted. They learned the system, leveraged study permits, and used work permit bridges to permanent residency. They did what any rational actor would. The tragedy is that Canadian-born youth, burdened by student debt and underemployment, see these successes as evidence of favoritism. In truth, it's a system that rewards whoever works hardest within broken rules. Chapter 4. The Housing Crunch and the Immigrant Narrative. The housing market is where frustration turns personal. Prices remain astronomical, rents devour paychecks. To many locals, every sold sign in Brampton feels like proof that outsiders have outbid them. The truth is complex. International students and newcomers, many from India, did drive rental demand, but interest rate hikes and bureaucratic bottlenecks choked supply long before that. Even with the 2024 student visa cap, demand still outpaces construction. Indian families approach housing collectively. Parents, children and cousins pool savings to purchase properties others can't afford alone. Multi-family mortgages, shared ownership and relentless saving make them formidable buyers. For single-income Canadians, competing is almost impossible. But blaming cultural cooperation distracts from policy failure. Canada needs over 3 million new homes. Bureaucracy builds a fraction of that each year. Politicians find it easier to scapegoat migrants than to reform zoning or streamline permits. Meanwhile, generational wealth gaps widen. Housing has become the new frontier of resentment, a mirror where Canadians project economic anxiety onto visible communities. Yet the real culprit isn't ethnicity, it's leadership paralysis. Chapter 5. Influence, Loyalty and the Shadow. Myth online forums buzz with claims of a shadow government. Comment sections allege that Indian Canadian politicians answer to New Delhi or push policies favoring their homeland. Facts tell a calmer story. Indian Canadian leaders advocate trade, technology exchange and student mobility because those ties benefit Canada's GDP. Economic alignment isn't infiltration, it's pragmatism. However, speed breeds suspicion. In a single generation, the community leapt from factory floors to cabinet offices. That acceleration unsettles long-established power blocks. Yes, there are lobbying networks, donor circles and cultural coalitions, but so do every other community and corporate sector. Influence in democracy is currency. Some groups have learned to invest it better. Canada's challenge is transparency. When policy favors align with diaspora interests, the optics demand clarity. Without it, rumor thrives and shadow becomes the easy label. But demonizing success risks something worse: division. The same energy that built corner stores and trucking empires is now building policy capacity. That's not corruption, that's evolution. The real shadow isn't ethnic, it's economic. Power flows to whoever understands the system, and Indian Canadians have simply learned its rules faster than most. Chapter 6. What it all means for Canada's future. The rise of Indian Canadian power forces a national question. What does Canadian mean in 2025? To older generations, it meant English or French, hockey and maple leaves. To younger ones, it means diaspora, digital ambition and shared struggle. Canada is no longer a land of two founding peoples. It's a coalition of hundreds. That evolution need not divide. Historically, each wave, Irish, Italian, Chinese, faced backlash before integration. Indian Canadians are living that cycle now. The difference is scale and speed. If Canada embraces this moment, it could harness a bridge to South Asia's billion-person economy, revitalize industries, and strengthen diversity. But if it retreats into fear, it risks fragmentation, a Canada of silos instead of unity. The path forward is balance. Regulate immigration sensibly, expand housing boldly, invest in homegrown talent relentlessly, and maintain transparency in government appointments. Power isn't bad when it's accountable. Influence isn't dangerous when it's shared. What matters is whether leadership remains loyal to all Canadians, not just communities. This is the crossroads: fear or fairness, resentment or reform. The decision will define the next decade of the Canadian dream. If you believe in truth over fear, data over division, and unity over blame, this is your channel. We go beyond headlines to uncover the forces shaping Canada's future. Help us reach 6,000 subscribers so we can keep producing fearless, fact-driven stories that others won't touch. Comment below. Is Canada's shifting power a threat, a triumph, or a turning point? Your voice matters. Together, we'll uncover the real story behind the headlines.